Hi, welcome to my video. I'm Jennifer Roberts. You're catching me on my YouTube channel, True Divine 44. You can also catch me on my Facebook page, True Divine, The True Divine for Instagram and Twitter. Like, share, subscribes and follows are greatly appreciated on all of those platforms, and much love to everybody who's doing that thus far and one way or another stuck by me from the start and is still there now. I really do appreciate you all more than you know. This is part of the free content, as you know, that I put out, the daily readings, which I pick up on the energy. I work with energy anyway, see, feel, experience it, and I back that up with tarot to bring a narrative to you that should help you on your day. Of course, with any reader, including me, always take what resonates here and leave the rest behind. Don't bend a reading to your will and cause things to come into your life that weren't necessarily for you. So this is for the 14th of June 2020. I'm going through very tough times. We are, and this is it. This is a huge reset in all of our lives, in all of our hearts, in all of our thoughts. So it is a difficult time. It is a birthing process, and we are having to birth around other people and be affected by their actions and how they react to whatever triggers, whatever pains they have in their life. So it really is a difficult time to get through, but it is completely possible to get through, and you are all capable of doing so. Regardless of what outside forces are trying to pull you down, drag you in, take your attention away from self. So the first card for the 14th of June is the Tower card. So this speaks of things tearing down, huge, thunderous, abrupt changes happening. It speaks very much too on the physical in the collective, where we see people being very reactionary instead of figuring out how they can so easily be triggered, what they're fighting for. They're fighting for some kind of identity, some kind of power, some kind of label that they're trying to live up to that has been indoctrinated within them. Ego. The Tower is the tearing down of anything that is made up of ego, false pretenses, anything that is not real and is illusionary. The division that we're seeing on the collective stage regarding race. We can date back in history so many times when we can prove that there has been deliberate attacks, deliberate attempts, deliberate things put into the collective from the powers that be above to cause racial division. Naturally, would we even really have racial division? And do we want to carry this on, regardless of whatever sins you have in your tower that has been built up from generation to generation, regardless of whatever stories have built your tower brick by brick regarding this division of race? Is it ever going to change if we all continue to hold on to those things? If we continue to hold on to that ego that is part of our identity, to be a victim one way or the other? Whether that is to feel a victim of white privilege, in that you were born white and you automatically, no matter what life path you've had, no matter what experiences and hardships you've had, you're automatically labeled privileged? Is it right that if you're born into a black family, that you are indoctrinated from a child, from the powers that be and your family, that there's a difference, that we have been held down, we have been pushed down, we have been, and of course on both sides, on all sides, all of the color spectrums of our beautiful skin, there is slavery, there is hardships, there is abuses, always by initially the powers that be. And they rely on it filtering down and digging deep into us, so much so that we build a whole tower, a whole ego around it. We do the job for them when we build up this tower. The universe gives the tower card as a gift, the energy, the alignments right now, the planetary alignments that are filtering down right now. And we're seeing the voids within people when we see them deface property, when we see them hurt others, when we see them do the job for those that are above. This is an important message. This is an important energy from the universe to say that the resistance is futile. Towers are going to get torn down. It's time for change. It's time for reset. It's time for Makali to come in on the ground and tear that ego down. So if you're acting out of ego, if you're hurting others, if you're hurting your fellow brothers and sisters, regardless of what color skin they have over their bones, you better believe that the energy right now in the universe is going to tear you down all the harder, because you're causing a resistance to it. There's no option but for this to happen to each and every one of us, but it's going to be on varying scales, believe you me. Because those who have done the inner work, those who have already started dismantling the various towers that would cause them to be divided from others, cause them to be separated from self, are going to have far less of a crash in their life than those who are acting out of a fully built tower that they are reinforcing as we speak. It is up to every individual to not go out and act out, and instead of tearing their egoic tower down, tearing other people down, tearing other things down. It is not acceptable that people continue to blame things outside of self, because even if these things came in from the top, we at some point, again on varying degrees, have accepted them. We at some point on varying degrees have been complacent to them. We at some point have had voids in ourselves that we have refused to look within and deal with. And therefore they are the weakness. So the Tower card is the gift to say that this is not reality. This is illusion. Most of the divisions, as I see them, have been built up and constructed like a script and played out like a script. The two-party systems, the red, the blue, the green, the whatever other colour there is of the political systems, all hiding the hidden hands above of the elites who have their own agendas that are passed down from generation to generation. So you better believe on the collective stage we are seeing even them, because this is above them now. This is planetary alignment stuff that is filtering down to us. This is energetic stuff. The energies are changing. Even these elites at the top, their towers are crumbling. Their usual safe zones are not safe anymore. Their usual safe zones for their lies to not come out are not there anymore. They're crumbling. So you don't want to be standing beneath those and get hit on the head by some almighty big bricks. That would be ironic, wouldn't it? People throwing bricks at horses in the UK, people throwing bricks at others and other people's properties. Isn't that ironic that you're standing right below the towers that have directed you and scripted you and triggered you into acting that way? Those bricks are going to fall hard on your head. You're doing the work for them to segregate you even more, to limit you and control you and manipulate you even more. And it is not acceptable anymore for you to act out this way, for you to have childish tantrums because you cannot face yourself, because you cannot face your ego and your inner grounds, because you cannot help the universe and tear these towers down co-creatively, to take up the invite of these energies and go within and find out where your voids are. Fill them up with goodness, fill them up with wholeness, not these illusionary but very heavy and very harmful bricks I say this passionately because I have children, and I do expect that when it comes to something like this, when it comes to something where we can really change and let those towers come down and see after the storm the real true healing, the star card, the wholeness, for my children to grow up and experience a co-creative, a co-creative, I'm sorry, for my children to be able to go out and just know themselves and not have anybody judge them for the colour of their skin. For my children to be able to creatively play, learn, experience, and grow with any friend, regardless of their skin colour. This is an event that is happening. Look, research, see that these divisions are made up of illusion, clever plans. Why do you think, right when we need the police most, when they're always there to bother us for a plant that grows naturally, when there's people sitting in jail now, even though you can buy weed in most places around the world, not most places, but many places around the world, buy it in greater amounts, that people are sitting in jail for right now in America? Does that not trigger alarm bells to you? Does that not show you that the very time the police are needed, the very time a parental arm, as in the police, to go in and control these children who are having tantrums on our streets all over the world, does that not tell you everything? That this is a scripted, illusionary tower from above? In our individual lives, the tower is kind, although it might feel very unkind, although it might feel harsh. And right now, it's the harshest tower for everybody, because like I said at the start, we're trying to tear these illusionary ego bricks down, all these labels that we've accepted, all of these identities that don't resonate with us, that we've accepted, these abuses that we haven't transmuted and healed. We're doing that while people are, building up their towers around us. And so it is thunderous right now. It does feel like the ground is shaking right now. But to be brave and go within, now is the time. Whatever doesn't resonate with you, whether it be yourself, you're not resonating with yourself, that you're not speaking your truths, that you're not being you, the you that you see, if you're not showing people who you really are, if you're around people that really don't see you, change it. Change it now. If you are doing something that doesn't resonate with you, as in a business or whatever that it may be, drugs, alcohol, whatever is limiting you that way, change it, and change it now. Whatever your tower is made up of, right now, take up the invitation to work with the energies around you, to tear those bricks down, to not look outside of self, to not look at the example of these people who are extensively building extensions on their towers, only for the bricks to fall from above, from the very people who've set them up. Don't let them draw you in to their tower moments. This is an individual journey, and right now this is an individual journey. But what we all do right now as individuals, with our own towers, with our own egos, does affect every single one of us. Collectively, we can tear these towers down and experience and co-create a reality that is much more whole, that is much less divided, that is much more safe an environment for our children. The truths that are going to come out regarding these towers from way, way above are going to shake the ground of all of us. They're going to shake us to our core. So it is important right now, instead of being complacent anymore for one day more, that we get our lives right. We separate from those that aren't good for us, that don't resonate with us. We separate from the things that aren't good for us and don't resonate with us. And we make sure that we resonate with as much of us as we can, with the things and people that surround us immediately. It is so important right now to take up this invitation without any more delay. Because when these towers from the top, and it will take some time because they're extensive, crumble, you want to be whole. You want to be around people who make you whole, help you feel whole, rather than tear you down or create voids. Because it will be difficult to face the truths that come out. So we have to be in our most balanced state. We have to have our most sturdy stance within self. If all of us are to do this, the reality we would experience, and the reality our children and our children's children have a possibility in this historic time to experience, is a beautiful one. It's a almost dreamland one compared to what we've been living under. You see, we live under many lies, many manipulations from the powers that be above, and we've let that filter into our own lives. We've become complacent in our own lives. We've stayed in relationships, business partnerships, friendships that don't serve us and do not reflect us. So we then feed in this consent that it's okay. It's okay if we don't feel totally whole. It's okay if we don't resonate with those around us or the environment around us. That's okay. So there's this constant energy feed loop going around of complacency and consent. By taking the inner grounds back, by dealing with your own tower, you feed into that collectively conscious pool that you do not consent to anyone manipulating you from above, around you, or below, to anybody controlling you or limiting your fire, your passion, your flow, from above, around you, or below. That feeds into the consciousness of very different reality. It feeds in an individual responsibility. And as far as I can see, the people who are really making life tough at the minute and doing the job for those above, for the plans that they've got further down the line, are the ones that are sabotaging it, sabotaging us. They're the ones that will not look at their inner grounds, that will not look at their own towers. They will not look. They want to blame something, destroy something outside of self. Because when you are living under this manipulation, you might pretend. You might pretend that it's okay. It's okay if you bend here. It's okay if you bend there. It's okay if you consent to that, even though everything in your heart doesn't want to. You might think that doesn't make a difference. Collectively, that creates exactly what we're seeing today. Collectively, that creates this consent loop that the above rely on. So it's important, so important to do the work right now individually. Next card is the Seven of Pentacles. Now this is success. This is earthly success. You know, it's earth, it's money, it's finance, it's the home, it's the car, it's the things. When you go within, when you start to feel these thunderous changes around you and within you, what is success? Have you gained that success by being complacent? Have you gained that success? Do you have real liberty? For those of you who are working with your tower, for those of you who are taking the invitation from the universe to go within and expose those voids within and fill them up with wholeness, fill them up with self-understanding, self-healing, there will be success. There will be jubilee, because you will be built up, it'll be built up on something real. There will be firm foundations for you to have success in this 3D realm, in this experience that you're having right now in your body. There will be a jubilee, there will be a celebration for you. You will feel liberated. That's what the tower does for us. If we flow with it, if we take the lessons from it that can feel harsh, if we do that, then we do build up this liberty, this success, this jubilee. The third card is the Three of Wands, but it came out in reverse. And so it speaks to, in reverse, it speaks to ulterior motives. So are you going to rely on the people around you, the people outside of you, to ultimately have your back? Right now is the time that people are being separated, people are being pulled apart, so that they can truly have their own back. Because the truth is, there are many people that are out to manipulate others for their own gain. Even what comes across as the nicest of people in your life, you might find that their motive is to limit you, to stop your flow, to control you. You might find that you are the one that's had ulterior motives, that you are the one that went against your tower moment and had those ulterior motives. But most importantly, this speaks to, in conclusion, again, as above, filtering down, so below. There are ulterior motives from above you. Their motives do not include your safety, your wholeness, your success, your liberty, your jubilee. Quite the opposite. They are out to keep their towers built. They are out to sustain the control they've enjoyed for far too long. So when you hear politicians backing this protest, politicians labeling a protest, rioters as protesters, relabeling and rebranding, they have an ulterior motive. So don't rely on anybody but self right now. And of course those that resonate with you. If you're lucky enough to have people around you that you know you can trust, that you know you can have your back, then of course you're in a much better position, and you've obviously been doing much more inner work on a sustained basis, on a regular basis, because your outside is reflecting that in the people and the company that you keep. But watch out for ulterior motives from the strangest of places, from the nicest of people, from the sweetest of voices. Watch out for those ulterior motives where they are looking out for self by limiting, controlling you and helping you maintain a tower of illusion in your life. It's time for us to stop living lies. It's time for us to not be afraid of judgment. It's time for us to go more by natural law. Because right when we need it most, a law that we've been forced to live by for so long, and the threat to be chained up and locked up for so long, isn't there. The ulterior motive. Let them go crazy. Let them go wild. These are children that we've controlled and manipulated for so long. They just want to rage. Let them rage, so that we can come in and gain more control, so that we can come in and pass whatever judgment, pass whatever law, pass whatever policy we wish that serves us most. Don't give them what they want. Do your individual work, do your individual journey, because the time is now, and it's running out of time, because the ulterior motives are there, the plans are there. The above is constantly strategizing. The above is constantly holding on to their motives, to their plan. Whereas we just complacently, accept whatever it is, and maybe complain a little bit. What is something different? What is something that's ancient? The ancient knowledge of the within. The ancient knowledge of knowing that if your within is intact, then your without is intact and whole. It's said that you become like the people you hang around. And so if you're around people that aren't resonating with you, you better believe they're still having an effect on you. If you're being complacent regarding your life choices and allowing other people to maybe manipulate you, control you, say sweet words to get you to go to their plan, it's an ulterior motive, and it won't do well for you. It won't do well for the collective. But the promise is here. The positive message is here. This tower, the energy of this tower, inviting you to expose the real you, the true you, the core of you, your core values, what you really love to enjoy doing, who you really love to be around. Then there's the Seven of Pentacles, this earthly success with spiritual wholeness, with inner ground cleanliness. There is 3D success. There is the manifestation of liberty, of jubilee, of feeling free to experience your life experience in this lifetime. On the bottom of the deck with that, to end it on a very positive note, because there are many people doing this, and I'll see you on the other side. I'm doing it too, hence the throat chakra thing. I'm working through them. The Two of Cups. This speaks to true affinity with people, true friendship, true love, balanced love, equal to you. Happiness. So not just physical success in the 3D that comes from this tower moment, but also emotional balance. You see, when you work on the triggers, you work on this illusionary, imbalanced tower, you get the balance here, you get the success here, you get the reward, and you get the emotional balance where you cannot be triggered quite so easily or at all, depending on how successful and how seriously you take this. All of a sudden, the plans from the top, those ulterior motives, poof, they're gone. They don't relate to you. And the voices of those on the streets that are just too frightened to do their own tower thing, they quieten down, they lessen. Like any child, they get tired after having a tantrum. Then we'll decide what to do. They'll decide what to do. If there's enough of us doing this tower in the right way, then, like any child, they'll learn by example of how to be a co-creator, how to be part of humanity, instead of constantly trying to feel different from it. To know how to have their individualism without having to accept a label that makes them feel special for some kind of abuse or some kind of harm that came to them generations before. So that is the reading for the 14th of June 2020. I know it was intense, but I can't stress how serious this is, and I'm an honest person. I have integrity and I have loyalty to those who want to listen to what I do. And so, when the energy is as strong as this, when the energy is as stern as this, then that's what I have to express. Because to do anything less, I would be doing a disservice to those who have trusted my words in the past. I ask that you trust my words now and trust my heart, that I come to you from a place of love and non-judgment, because we're all in this together, and that my words are to lift you up, empower you, and also give you some foresight into what needs to be done when. So if this resonated with you, please be brave enough to do the inner work. If you're struggling and you would like a personal reading, you can get in touch with me with any of the details below this video. Of course, you can catch me on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. If you would like any energy work, which really helps with these tower moments, any spiritual guidance, again, get in touch with me. We can sort some sessions out. So until next time, much love, be balanced, and make yourself whole. I love you all. Mwah.